Hi everyone. So now we are going to discuss one very popular problem that is called minimum coin change, right? So let's see what the problem is. So you're given that you have coins of certain denominations. Let's talk about Indian currency, right? So in Indian currency you have different type of coins. You have a 1 rupee coin, you have 2 rupee coin, you have 5 rupee coin, even you have 10 rupee, 20 rupee, 50 rupee, and you have 500 rupee, and you have 2000 rupee, right? So let's say, and you need to make a change for certain rupees. Let's say I want you to give me a change for 137 rupees, right? So you need to make 137 rupees change by using uh, minimum number of coins or currencies from the available denomination, right? And for each type of coin or currency you have infinite coins. Okay, so you have infinite coins of same type, which means you can use the same coin multiple times, right? So the question is, what is the minimum number of coins needed to make 137 rupees, right? So the first approach that might come to your mind again would be a greedy approach. So if you want to make 137 rupees, let us first pick the largest available currency. Okay, so we also have a 100 rupee note here, right? And we also have a 200 rupee, right? So I just missed those. So yeah, so the first approach is that, okay, let us pick the largest one, so that will basically we would be left with 37 rupees, and we have already collected a 100 rupee note, right? So in order to get the 37 rupees, you can pick the largest possible currency denomination that you can pick, which is less than equal to 37, that is 20. And if this is a sorted array, you can use binary search to just find out 20, the lower bound, and you are left with 17 rupees, right? And you have picked 20, right? And now to make 17 rupees, you can say, okay, the lower bound is 10, so I'm left with 7 rupees. And to make 7 rupees, I know I can pick 5, and I'm left with 2 rupees. To make 2 rupees, I know I can pick 2 rupees to get 0, right? So you can see, you can pick 5 followed by 2, right? So you need 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So minimum number of coins you need is 5 coins, right? So I want to now discuss whether this approach is optimal or not, right? So this is something that many students will think is the right approach, but actually it is not, right? So it is also true that this type of approach is true for Indian currency, but you have to make test cases to make sure that it works for all other currencies also if you are going to implement it, right? But it is true for Indian currency, right? So if you see that this approach will work for Indian currency only, not for all possible denominations, right? So let me give you one counter case, and let's say you are going to some other country where the coins are available in a different denomination. Let's say the coins are like this. So you have let's say coin of 1 rupee, you have a coin of 7 rupee, and you have a coin of 10 rupee, right? And let's say I want to make 15 rupees as the change. I want to make 15 rupees, right? So again, if you go with this greedy approach where you are going to pick the largest possible coin which is less than equal to 15, you will pick 10, right? So once you pick 10, you are left with 5 rupees, okay? And in order to make 5 rupees, you can pick only one coin. You will have 5 minus 1, which is 4. This is 5. And again, to make 4 rupees, you will make 3 rupees, and then you will make 2 rupees, then you will make 1 rupee, and then you will eventually get 0 rupee, right? So yeah, let me just change the marker. Okay. So if you carefully see this, right, you will see that you actually need 6 coins, which is not the correct answer, right? So the best answer would be if you could have done 7, 7 and 1, right? If you could have done, I will take, okay, 7 coins and 1 coin, that actually make 15 rupees using 3 coins, right? So clearly the greedy approach in this case is not optimal, right? So the best way to verify whether greedy will work or not, you make a counter test case. You think of a test case where you approach greedy is going to fail, and now you can be sure that this certainly can be solved using dynamic programming. We do not know what is the best way to make this given change, so we would try out all possible options, right? So now the solution that we are going to use will be a dynamic programming solution, and dynamic programming is nothing but an optimization to the recursive formulation, right? So recursive formulation will allow you to consider all possible cases like this. So if I say, okay, I will start with 15 rupees, in what states I can land up, right? So if I pick a coin of 1, let me also draw that available coins are 1, 7 and 10, right? So if I pick a 1 rupee coin, I can reduce my amount to 14 rupees. If I pick a 7 rupee coin, I can reduce my amount to 8 rupees. If I pick a 10 rupee coin, I can reduce my amount to 5 rupees. Now you can see these are your sub problems, right? So these become your sub problems. If you know the solution to these sub problems, you can definitely form the solution for this. So let's say to make a change of 14, you need X number of coins. To make a change of 8, you need Y number of coins. To make a change of 5, you need Z number of coins. So your answer, right, I'm just writing it here. So your answer would be nothing but minimum of X, Y, Z plus 1. So it is very similar to the minimum steps to one problem that we had discussed in the last video. So your answer would be minimum of all these 3 plus 1, right? And since this follows an optimal substructure, you can again break down every problem in the same manner. So you can break down 14 into, okay, I can go to 13. If I pick 7, I can go to 7. And if I pick 10, I can go to 4. Again, from 8, I can go to 7. And I can go to 1. And I can go to 10. And similarly, from 5, I can go to only one state, which is 4, right? And this is going to be quite, so from here you can end up at 12, you can end up at 13 minus 7, which is 6, or you can end up at 3, and from here you can end up at 6, and you can also end up at 0, right? So this 0 becomes your base case, right? And we know that this is the first state which has reached 0, because all other are going to take more time, or they will take a longer path to reach 0. So we can say, okay, let's return a 1 from here, right? So remember, I'm not drawing all these states because it is going to be a pretty large tree, and we are going to compute it in a left to right order, right? So it's not that we are going to compute this directly first, but yeah, this would be one of the answers in this branch, right? So 0 is going to return that, okay, if I am left with 0 rupees, I need 0 coins to make the change, right? So this is going to return a 0 from here, right? So let me just use a different marker, okay? So we are going to use return a 0. And from 7 I can say, okay, I came to know this is some answer A, this is some answer 0, and I know the answer is going to be minimum of these two, which is 0, okay, and this is going to return a 1, right, using this formula. And since we are at 14, we know, okay, the X is going to be minimum of this value. Let's say this is some A, this is 1, this is some B. So minimum of A, 1 and B, and I am assuming this is the minimum, so the minimum is going to be 1, so X is going to be minimum of these 3 plus 1, which is going to be 2, right? And similarly from this you will get one of the answer, and now you can see that this is also going to reduce it to a similar state, and you can see we have computed the answer for 7, which is 1, and similarly we will compute the answer for 7 here, but we will not make a call, right? So since we are doing a top down DP, we would have an array where the answer of 7 is already stored as 1, right? Because you need one coin to make a change of 7, and that coin is the 7 rupee coin. So this answer is going to be 1, and similarly y would be 1, and if you take a minimum of x, y and z, it is going to be 1, right? So z is going to be something which is greater than equal to 1, right? So z is going to be 4, right? Because it is going to be 5. You need 5 coins to make a change of 5. So minimum is going to be 1, and if you add 1 here, right? Okay, so yeah, for 14, so this is actually going to be 2, right? It is going to be 2, yeah. So when you take minimum from this, you will also add a 1 from here, right? So this, the answer for 14 is going to be minimum of all these, which is A1 and B, which is 1 plus 1, which is 2. Similarly, the answer is going to be 1 plus 1, which is going to be 2. So the minimum of 2, 2 and 5 is going to be 2, and you add a 1 here, you get 3. So in order to make 15 as the change, you would need 3 coins, right? So this is the recursive tree, and this is what is going to happen in the top-down approach. You are going to do recursion with some memoization, right? So if I talk about what are the calls you are going to make, so in order to compute f of n, you are basically trying all possible coins, right? From 15 you are going to, okay, so what is this state? This state is nothing but you pick some coin, right? Okay, so how many calls you will have? You will see what all coins I can pick. So it would be n minus coins of I. So this state would be n minus coins of I. For example, if n is 15 and you pick a 7 rupee coin, so you'll end up at 8, which is 15 minus 7, right? So f of n is nothing but it is minimum of all the states which you can reach from a given n by picking a certain coin, right? So it would be minimum of f of n minus coins of I, provided, okay, provided this value, and here you can say for all I, okay. So you have to try for all I, provided if n minus coins of I is greater than equal to 0, right? So you cannot pick a coin whose denomination is greater than the value of n. For example, you want to make 7 rupees, so you cannot pick a 10 or 20 rupee coin, right? So you just compute this value and you take the minimum for all possible values of I, right? So this is what you are going to do in a top-down DP approach. So let me quickly also discuss about the bottom-up case, okay? So let me just see how we can do this in a bottom-up manner, right? And then we will also talk about the complexity of the same problem. Okay, so let's see how we can implement same using a bottom-up DP. So for bottom-up DP, I'm going to take a relatively small example. Let's say the coins which are available, let's say 1, 3 and 5, and let's say I want to make a change for, let's say, 8 rupees, right? Okay. So there are multiple ways to make 8 rupees, but the shortest would be you pick these 2 coins, right? So let's say, okay, we have a DP array, and since the state is described by one variable which is n, it would be a 1DTP. Okay. So let's see what is the answer for n equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so in order to make a change for 0, I need 0 coins. In order to make 1 rupee, how many coins I would need? I can say, okay, from 1 I can go to 0 by picking a 1 rupee coin. So this would be minimum of this plus 1, so it is going to be 1. Okay. What about at 2? So if I want from a state 2, I can pick a 1 rupee coin to end up in a state of 1. So for 2, I will make a call on 1, and this is now computed as 1. So minimum is 1 plus 1, it is going to be 2. So you need 2 coins to make a change for 2 rupees, given these are the coins. For n equal to 3, right? So you have 2 options. You can pick 1 rupee coin, you can pick a 3 rupee coin. You cannot pick a 5 rupee coin because it does not satisfy this condition, right? So you can say, okay, from 3 I can go to 2, I can go to 1, sorry, I can go to 0, right? I cannot go to 1, right? So I can subtract 1, I can subtract 3 to end up at these problems, and minimum of 0 and 2 is 0. So this answer is going to be 0 plus 1, which is 1. And you can see that actually it is an optimal answer. For n equals to 4, you can pick 1, you can pick 3. So if you pick 1, you end up here. If you pick 3, you end up here. So minimum of 1 and 1 is 1 plus 1, which is 2. So what it is saying, if you go to 3, you pick a 1 rupee coin, and to make 3, you pick a 3 rupee coin. So this is the denomination you choose, or you can first pick a 3 rupee coin, you end up at 1, and at 1 you pick 1 rupee coin to make 1. So this makes basically these 2 cases. So in both of these cases, you will need 2 coins. So you pick 3 followed by 1, or you pick 1 followed by 3. So to make 5, the best possible way would be to go to 0 by picking a 5 rupee coin, and you can definitely take the minimum between this and 5 minus 3, which is 2. So this is going to be 1. Similarly for 6, the best would be you go to 5, so it would be 2. For 7, you can go to 6, you can go to 7 minus 3, which is 4, and you can go to 7 minus 5, which is 2. Okay, so the best would be if you go to 7 minus 2 plus 1, which is 3, right? So in order to make 7, you need 2 coins, okay, and this would be 3. And for 8, you can say, okay, I can pick 1, I can go to 7, I can pick 3, I can go to 5, and I pick 5, I can go to 8 minus 5, which is 3. So here the answer is 1, and I can see the minimum is 1, so this is going to be 2. So in order to make a change for 8 rupees, you can see we need exactly 2 coins, which is 3 and 5, right? So this is what the bottom up DP is going to do, and let's talk a bit about time complexity of this. So you can see that you need to compute DP of n, and DP of n that we have already seen can be written as minimum of DP of n minus coins of I for all possible I, for all I, okay, provided this condition is also satisfied. So when you are going to do this loop, so if you have, let's say, t type of coins, you have t type of coins, so this dp of n of one particular state is going to take order of t time to compute, and you know how many states you need to compute. You need to compute n number of states, so it would be order of t into n. So the overall complexity both in the top and bottom up case would be t into n, where n is the amount and t is the type of coins you have, right? So I hope this particular solution is now clear to you, and this dp is same as this f, right? So do not think of it as a different thing, right? So these two are effectively same. So here I have written dp of n minus coins of I for all possible I. So in the next video we will talk about the implementation, and thanks a lot for watching this video. See you guys in the next part.